All right, let's look at a few examples to see what um, what happens as a result of a change in supply or demand. I'm going to cover these up so that you're not tempted to look here. So I'm going to give you a situation, and um, you're going to try to figure out, okay, what's going to be the result of this? Okay, so rumors have been floating that the next generation of cell phones is about to be released. So I want to think about what this is going to do for cell phones. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Um, on your test, there's not going to be a lot of me talking about um, demand or supply. What I'm going to ask is I'm going to give you a situation and I'm going to ask what's the result of that situation. So it's going to be up to you to think of things through the lens of supply and demand. So rumors have been floating around that the next generation of cell phones is about to be released. Okay, well, these rumors, is that going to affect supply or demand? Okay, well, that's going to affect demand. People are going to go, oh, well, if this new one's coming out, maybe I want to get the new one and not the one that's currently out now. That's actually going to decrease demand. It has nothing to do with supply. These rumors have nothing to do with the supply of cell phones. Okay, so a decrease in demand, okay, what is that going to do? Well, decrease in demand decreases prices, decreases quantity. So, what do we expect to happen? We expect to see the price of the current generation of cell phones go down, and we expect there to be less sold. So, on the test, I wouldn't ask about the supply and the demand increasing, decreasing, whatever. I would say, these rumors have occurred. What do we expect? And you would say, we expect fewer cell phones to be sold at lower prices. And that's it. Okay. You don't have to talk about the supply and whether it's increasing or decreasing. But if you think about it like that, you're going to get these questions correct. Okay. So this is it's a change of consumer expectations. All right. So let's take a look at the next one. Cell phone accessories, chargers, cases, etc., have gotten cheaper. All right. So again, let's think, okay, is this going to affect how much we want it? Is this going to affect demand? Or is this changing how much it costs to produce it? How much someone wants to produce this thing? Um, so this seems like it has no effect on supply. So it's going to affect demand. All right. So this is going to increase demand. Well, what does it mean when we increase demand? That means prices go up, quantity goes up. So we expect to sell more cell phones at higher prices. Why? Because the cost of complementary goods have decreased. All right. Let's look at another example here. Oops. The federal government taxes cell phone manufacturers for each phone produced. I should say produced. Oh well. Um, so um, a tax. Who's the tax on? Is it on consumers or is it on producers? Well, in this case, it's on producers. So this is going to affect supply. It's going to decrease supply. All right. Well, a decrease in supply decreases quantity, but it increases price. Remember, supply price is always going the opposite way of the quantity change. All right. So we expect to sell fewer cell phones at higher prices. All right. So let's say that there's been a change in demand for like desktop computers, and now people are willing to pay less for computers. And these computers contain many of the same components as cell phones. Interesting. Well, we're not talking about anything about how much people want cell phones. Um, so this is not a shift in demand, but we're talking about what we called a supply substitute. Okay, something that uses the same inputs to produce. So this is going to be a change in supply. In this case, we are going to increase supply because now it's more profitable to move our production from desktop computers to cell phones. So this is an increase in supply. Well, what does this do? An increase in supply increases quantity, but it decreases price. So these are the kind of examples I'm going to give you to where I give you a situation and you can tell me what happens using supply and demand modeling. So there you go.